The humble pan. It is both a very simple form of a camera move, yet it opens up a whole new world of filmmaking by allowing us to capture a wide angle of a subject. It allows us to keep up with the moving subject, and it gives us the ability to reveal new information. Hi, my name is Dong, and I'm an animator in the Japanese animation industry. And today, let's take a look at how to create and use pans in your own scenes, whether for your own creations or if you're looking to go pro in Japan or otherwise. We'll start with a simple pan where our camera just moves from one point to another, and then we'll go on to more complex camera work involving parallaxing and slides. In terms of animation pipeline, this is part of layout. I'll be working in Clip Studio Paint, but like always, use the tools that are most comfortable to you. My layout template and timesheet that I will use will be available in the comments below. For this scene, we'll have this character and we'll pan up to reveal her face. Since this is a vertical pan, let's make the canvas a bit longer than normal. This scene will also be 3 seconds long. Alright, now it's time for layout. Let's draw the character on our A cell layer, making sure to draw enough of her outside the frame so that we can fill in the pan. Here, I give her some shading and fill her in with this yellow color. It's a Japanese thing for layouts. The background will be pretty simple. Several layers of mountain ranges backed against the blue sky, based on the view I saw after summiting Mount Yari. The eye level will be pretty high up there in the scene. Adding some shading to the background, while optional, really helps out your background painter. To create the pan, we need to set up our starting and end frames. In the new layer, I'll take the box drawing tool and just trace over the frame we have in our layout template. Then I'll move that box down and set it as the starting frame by labeling it with the letter A. The original frame will be labeled B, then we draw an arrow like so indicating the move from positions A to B. Then we write pan. Now let's go to our timesheet. At the top, I write in the title and timing. This is a 3-second long scene, by the way. Then at the bottom, I cross out the area to mark the end of the scene. Our A cell is a held frame, and I write that in our animation column. In the memo area, we write a note for the pan, pan A to B. And in the camera work column here, we indicate the start of the pan with a triangle, draw a line through for the duration of the pan, and we'll make this 2 seconds or 48 frames. Then we mark the end of the pan with another triangle. We again label the 2 points, and write a note so that the compositor knows what's up. Pan A to B. I don't want to delve into compositing that much, but if you want to test your camera move in Clip Studio Paint, you can go into Animation, New Animation Layer, and create a 2D camera folder. Then drag everything you want to move inside that folder. Then create a keyframe at the beginning and end of the scene using the Create Keyframe button. Then click the first keyframe and drag the scene down so that it matches the A frame. Let's play it back. By utilizing a pan, we can have way more information in a scene than if that camera was fixed. The addition of the pan gives the scene more visual interest and can be used to really add dynamism to a scene when otherwise there is little happening in it. We can fine-tune this. Right now the speed is linear, it's all the same. We can add an ease to the end using what is called a fairing in the anime industry. Let's take our diagram and set a point for where we want the camera move to start slowing down. And then we add this little squiggly symbol. Let's also rename our pan positions into A, B, and C respectively. We also need to fix up our timesheet a bit. Pan ABC in the memo, and our camera work column too. Let's make this camera move shorter, only 24 frames long, and we'll have the B position be reached at around frame 6. Don't forget that squiggly line and label everything. Now we can play it back. This way, really fast pans won't look janky when they stop. And there's obviously a lot of other uses for this too, so play around. If you really need more control, we can set the position of the camera frame by frame. This is sometimes called a Memori Pan in the industry, but every studio kind of uses their own lexicon to describe camera work, so there are some variations. Draw a notch for every frame you want the camera to stop at, and label it a number. Now we go back into our timesheet and make some changes. In the memo, write Memori Pan, or just Pan I guess, depending on who your employer is, and note the numbers for the first and last positions. And in our camera work column, draw out and time the numbered frame positions. Our pan will be on 2s, which Memori Pans lets us do, and is useful in certain situations. I label it Memori Pan and write 2K, meaning on 2s. It's a Japanese thing. Let's play it back. When you only want to move a single subject, either an animation cell layer or an underlay overlay background element, which is called a book in the Japanese animation industry, we use a slide. For example, we can separate the cloud layer into an underlay book layer by coloring and labeling it. And then we slide it to make it look like it's slowly moving through the sky. We set the start and end of the movement and label it, book slide 1 to 2. You can label it with either numbers or, if you can, use Japanese katakana to make it easier to differentiate from all the other types of camera work. Let's go to our timesheet and add our slide. It's not too different from the pan. Write the memo, book slide 1 to 2, and the similar diagram in our camera work column. Set the start, draw the line for the duration of the slide, which is the whole 3 seconds, and label it. Write a little note, book slide 1 to 2, and you're golden. Let's check it out. Now, when we combine our pan and slide together, we create a sort of parallaxing effect. This is called the Micchaku pan in the anime industry, and you can also call it the Multiplane Pan, like the old Disney guys. Here, we have our old original pan, but we'll remove the character layer for simplicity. This will be a BG-only shot. Then we have to separate our background into underlay and overlay book elements. I think I'll have the tree layer and the front 2 mountain ranges split into books 1 to 3, with the higher number being closer to the camera. Give them a color and label them. Then we assign a slide to each layer. Since the higher the book number, the closer it is to the camera, and the more distance it will slide. Book 1, the layer closest to the BG, will move the least, while book 3 will move the most. These elements should move in the same direction as the pan, unless you're going for some kind of crazy rotational tracking shot. In our timesheet, write the memo to make sure that this is a BG-only shot. Then write down all the instructions for all the layers and the pan, noting the start and end positions of each. Pan A to B, book 1 slide 1 to 2, book 2 slide 3 to 4, book 3 slide 5 to 6, and same thing for our camera work column. Draw the diagram and we'll have this one last for the duration of the scene. Then we have to indicate the starting frames, which are A, 1, 3, 5, and the ending frames, which are B, 2, 4, 6. Lastly, write a little note like always. Alright, let's check out how it looks. A variation on the pan is the Tsuke pan, or tracking pan. Here only the background pans and the animation cell layer is fixed. This can create a multitude of effects, and for example here, we can create the feeling of the camera rotating around our character. This is from my video on the Memori Pan shot. See that video for more information. Set up the pan like normal. And just write A cell Tsuke pan or A cell tracking pan A to B to indicate that we want the A cell to be fixed. We now go into our timesheet. I already set it up with our animation on the A cell layer, and again check out that Memori Pan video for more information on this scene. The memo area is similar to what we had for the pan. Write A cell Tsuke pan A to B or your country's equivalent, and write in the camera work column which the starting and end positions, and label it A cell Tsuke pan. Now let's check it out. Something in the same vein as the pan is the following shot. Here the camera sticks to a subject in motion and it looks like the background flies past. Here I have a character in a car and they are going to drive while the background scrolls past screen right. There are several ways to approach this kind of shot, but the way I like to do it is to have the A cell layer with the character and car be fixed, and have the BG be pulled towards screen right at a fixed speed using what is called a follow. So I will write a little instruction for the compositor. A cell follow, and then an arrow to the left as that is the direction A cell is moving in, and then an arrow facing right, and I'll label that BG as that is the direction the background is moving in. You can also write the kanji dai instead of BG, you know, the kanji for table. A long story. And here it is in English. Next, we need to set up the speed of the background move in millimeters per frame. You're going to have to measure this. Clip Studio Paint has a really nice ruler tool, so you can use that to see the length of an area in millimeters. This scene, like most of the others, is 3 seconds or 72 frames long. And let's say I want the BG to move 50 millimeters in that 72 frames, I pull out my calculator and do some quick math. That comes out to around 0.7 millimeters per frame. And this is how you would write it in Japanese. 0.7 miri, which is short for millimeter, and K, which is short for koma, meaning frame. You don't have to draw the full extent of the BG. You can just leave it to the painter to fill it in. In the timesheet, we draw the instruction in the memo. A cell follow, the speed, the 2 arrows, and BG at the end. Do it in Japanese or English depending on where you work. And then write in our camera work column with our little diagram lasting for the duration of the scene. Then we leave a little note, labeling it with what we wrote before. Cool, let's check it out. Pans and its cousins are a useful and versatile camera work technique, and mastering them will allow you to create engaging and visually interesting scenes. For further reading, I recommend you check out Junko Miyakawa's Satsuma, which is a little write-up on animation camera work that most Japanese animators have read. But do note that terminology often varies between studios. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks to everyone who is supporting the channel on Patreon. If you would like to support the channel, links are down below. Patrons get some unique content to them every month. Other than that, check out my social media, Twitter for my day-to-day, and Instagram if you just want to see my art. Have a great day.